So this is a tutorial and instructions on how to remove and inspect your valve assembly. So most of the time, to have this happen, you'll get an alarm on the cap view and it'll tell you what valve is the issue. So it'll be a valve lodged alarm, a coil circuit short alarm. There'll be a couple other valve alarms. But let's say that you see an alarm on your cap view, you want to go out to your boom and you want to figure out what's wrong with your valve assembly. So go to the valve location it's saying on the cap view. We're going to pick this one here, and you got to undo these quarter turn Zeus connectors. You got to remove your shell. So there's one on top and one on bottom you got to remove. You just grab the quarter turns, split the shell and then pull outward. If you have a 45-degree tip, you'll definitely have to remove that. But most of these straight streams or just one assembly, there is no issue. So once you have that shell removed, set it aside, and then this is what it looks like inside. Each one of these coils have a connector on them. So you need to remove that connector. It's a 2-pin connector. Just push down the tab and disconnect it. Then you grab this nut, and they're hand tight. We don't need tools for this. You undo this nut, remove this assembly, and this is what you have. So one thing you need to, before you take it apart, is look inside. Make sure there's nothing inside of it, no contamination, nothing plugged inside. Make sure there's 2 O-rings in there. Make sure the small blue O-ring is good and that large blue O-ring is good. So if you have an issue with your valve assembly, say you have a bad coil, you had an alarm on your cap view saying coil short or open, or you have a valve lodged alarm, and the cap view usually will tell you if there's a valve lodged alarm. You need to take your removal tool, which they come with every kit, SwathPRO kit. This is what it looks like. Take your removal tool and you insert it into the end of your valve assembly. You unscrew it. This is what the inside of your valve assembly looks like. You have a plunger in here. You also have an O-ring in here. The O-ring's right there, it's brown. Make sure you don't lose that O-ring on the ground. That can fall out a little easier than the blue ones do. But if you have a lodged alarm, most of the time this plunger is either stuck all the way in or it's out a little bit, keeping the flow from going in the center of that orifice. Now if you have a coil issue and you're needing to replace this coil, just take this old coil, unscrew it, replace it with a new coil, put that plunger back in it, make sure your O-ring is there, put it over the end, screw them together. You can put tension on the end here with your finger, get it hand tight, use your removal tool, put it in the end, snug it up, verify that your little blue O-ring is still on the middle there, make sure it's not ripped or stuck in your removal tool. Make sure your big blue O-ring is there, and then you're able to put this back on your boom. We'll now reinstall the valve assembly. So again, make sure your O-rings are still in there after you removed everything. We have not dropped those out. And put this back into the position, and then screw this nut back on and hand tight it. Again, no tools are needed. Make sure you connect your 2-pin connector, tuck it in here, grab your shell, again split it, grab the ends, split it apart, and then tighten up your top and bottom quarter turn screws.